To create a personalization database, we go to the menu item, Print Templates, Data, Pers Data. By clicking the Create New Database button, as the name suggests, we can create a new database. In the first step, we assign a name to the database and change the status at the bottom from locked to OK. When saving, we can return to the overview if we like and save once. At this point, we have created this personalization database. Now we can create the columns by editing the structure. So basically, when editing the structure, you define the personalization variables here again. That is, if I want to save the first name, last name, and positions here. In this personalization database, I need to create columns with the corresponding names here. I do this under Edit Structure, as I said, by creating a new entry. And then would I now enter first name in the sorting here? And then I can add another new entry and continue like this. Last name sorting. I'll explain the sorting in more detail in a moment. This is the manual way here now. You can also do all of this via an Excel import, create these columns, and even import data records at the same time. For our example, first name and last name are enough for now. If we now go back to the overview again and click on data here, you can imagine these are the entries in the database. Of course, it's still empty at the moment. I always like to do it this way. So that I can export it and later import everything back in, I first need to add an entry here. So let's fill in an entry, Max Mustermann. And the moment I have an entry in this Pers database, I can do a CSV export. Here we see the exported file opened in Excel. It's important when importing that we leave the first two columns untouched. That means a customer user ID and a customer user budget group ID are expected during the import. We see the two columns, first name and last name, that I created, and the first entry, Max Mustermann. I could now, in typical Excel fashion, simply enter the other variables here like this. We want to name the position, the company, the street, just as the variable was named in the layout, the column. And then we have the telephone country code, the area code, the phone number, and the phone extension. And the same goes for the fax number. Fax country code, fax area code, fax number, fax extension, and the mail variable. We can now save the whole thing, close it, and then also in the backend. Under Persdaten, if we edit the personal data again, we have the option here under Data Import to import this CSV file. I'll do that now, select the file and click on Send. At that moment, unfortunately, we don't get a success message, but if I edit the structure again now, we can see that we've created all these columns through this import, and the sorting was also carried out accordingly.